One of the ladies that I know, her periods normalized within the first 30 days. The next 60 days, they were still normal. She was shocked. In the 90 days, she didn't have a period. And she, yes, Stephen, correct. So she didn't have a period the third month, and she was devastated. I thought this was working. I thought I found the thing. I don't understand. Feeling better. All these things are happening, and all of a sudden I'm back to I don't have a period again. Guess what? She was pregnant. When the doctor told her she probably wasn't going to get pregnant, she was pregnant, and now that baby is over a year old. And she didn't do any crazy drugs. She didn't do metformin. She didn't do any of those things. She just did the tea in the morning. That's a very highly concentrated form of yerba mate tea. And she did the pre-meal drink with all of those components that help bring blood sugar levels down, got her insulin resistance under control. And she just got her insulin levels down so that they're annoying the body, and she got better. All of the things up here are linked inside to insulin resistance. More and more as they start looking at this, they're finding more and more that look at a symptom and they're like, this is related to insulin resistance, and they do a study. They start to find that there's a high correlation between insulin resistance in each one of those disorders and the disorder. So now that starts leading some to believe that insulin resistance really is this cause for all of these, because when they look at all of the symptoms above and they can find a high correlation between that symptom and insulin resistance, and even more so, people who have this high insulin level have multiple of these symptoms. Now we have a story that insulin resistance is really at the root of it all. So that's why we talk about insulin resistance. That's PCOS. Hypothyroid is very similar. I'm not as versed on what's happening. I know that it does affect how your thyroid hormones get put out. I'd have to go back and do research because, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just to try to help out. So yes, can it cause gut infections? Let's talk about that, as it's not going to cause anything that's viral, right? We got to understand there are things that are happening because our homeostasis is off, because the way our body is supposed to function is not functioning properly. And I'm going to go back to our food, because our food isn't giving us the proper nutrients to be able to do what we want to do. And then there's the viral stuff, or there's something that you ingested, a bacteria or a parasite, and then you get that kind of gut infection. So let's look and say something that's because you have an imbalance in your gut. So inflammation in your gut, symptoms like IBS and Crohn's. Yes, insulin resistance can cause a lot of that. Good morning, Lori. Tell us about the system for you, Lori. Would you tell everybody what, just if you have a moment, would you type that why you started the system and what you're noticing different with it, and then tell them if it's hard or if it tastes good. Yeah, I want to prompt you. You just if you want to type, I'll read it out for everybody on the other streams. But so there's that, you guys. PCOS, hypothyroid, all of these things linked to insulin other ways. It is Unimate. So it's got 375 times the chlorogenic acids of normal herbal mate tea. We just did a video on bipolar and how insulin resistance is even being linked to bipolar. And I've been saying that for a while. I know why. Now they're starting to have science to show why this link between bipolar and insulin resistance is going on. And it has to do with the blood-brain barrier and a number of other things. One thing scientists are noticing is that with all the neurological disorders, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, bipolar, they're finding, I shouldn't say all, many, they're finding this huge correlation with insulin resistance in people with disorders, and that when they address the insulin resistance, those disorders start to get better. So even ADHD, I know so many people, I have ADHD, it's much better now than it was 2 years ago, much better. All right, there's that. So the Unimate, and you guys, if you want the products, you just go up to my profile up here. There's going to be a box come up down below, and then you'll see my page. is where to get the product. It costs about $5 a day. I'll talk about that. Thank you for the review. My mind works in wondrous ways. So some people, or not some people, I had one person text me the other day and say, well, I've called my insurance agency and don't cover it. It's not in their formulary. You guys, I have been trying to be careful to say that your insurance company will reimburse you for it because it's in the prescribed digital reference. Your doctor writes a prescription. Lori says that the system tastes great. She has good energy, feeling better. She's down 10 pounds, addicted to the tea. This tea is flipping amazing. I drink it 2 to 3 a day. That's a big part of why my hunger stays away, and we want to talk about that now too. But I just lost my track of where I was going. Lori, hold on. Let me have a sip of tea. All right. So I totally lost track of what I was saying. If anybody remembers what I was saying before Lori typed, I'll get back to it. Oh yeah, the person. There we go. I'm back. So I want you to understand that even for Wegovy and semaglutide and all those things, insurance company is not going to cover it for weight loss purposes. If you call your insurance company and say, I have this weight loss, will you cover it? Barge, the answer is going to be nope. Nope, we don't weight loss things because they still see it as your problem and not just a real medical emergency. Okay. So if you go to your insurance company and have the right codes for it, meaning that it's maybe diagnosed for A1C and blood glucose, pre-diabetes, diabetes, insulin resistance, then your insurance company can get on the board because then they're going to be able to see in the PDR that that's exactly what it's for. But if you're in for something like weight loss, they're not going to cover any weight loss drug. So to do that, that's not about it. And I talk about weight loss with this a little bit, but you guys don't hear me talk about weight loss a lot because I don't want people focusing just on weight loss. You can get a little bit heavy and be healthier than somebody who's lean inside. I want to deal with what's going on the inside and the core of what's making you sick. So is it safe if you're underweight? You have to eat 3 meals and take digestive enzymes. Jack, tell me, can you, if you don't, will you tell me more? I can't diagnose. I just want to understand a little bit why you're taking digestive enzymes and you're eating, and then what kind of foods are you eating? Insulin resistance, like anything else, we all have difference and we all react to things differently. In some people, a smaller percent, but in some people, insulin resistance does not diabetic who are very thin. That doesn't always mean a ton of excess weight. That insulin resistance can show up in different bodies at times, different ways. Some people are very lean but very insulin resistant. Some people who are very lean and weight have been shown to be more insulin resistant than somebody who has a higher body fat, not visceral, but subcutaneous fat. So the fatter person may be less insulin resistant, and the skinny person may be more insulin resistant. So weight is not what I like to focus on because that's not the biggest cue for insulin resistance. Yep. So and it can take 3 to 6 months to reverse insulin resistance, and even longer. You can fix the way your body's producing thyroid and possibly how your thyroid functions by fixing what's wrong with food that caused you to start to get sick in the first place. If it's not genetics or something like that, and it's just a lifestyle related disorder, yeah, fixing your food. A number of women who were diagnosed with Hashimoto's who are getting better by addressing what's broken with our food. I have women who've just had hypothyroid. I just had my thyroid tested, and for the first time in my life, off of medications for 2 years, and just doing morning and the drink before I eat, levels are right down the middle on every panel of my thyroid. How does, when my thyroid's never been in normal range for my life, for probably since I was around 15, my thyroid was all over the place. Okay, so all right, without thyroid, can I tell you something really quick too? My journey with thyroid, just so you understand, and maybe I had an endocrine working on me, and my thyroid levels would bounce. Sometimes they were high, sometimes they're low, sometimes they were right on. I couldn't figure it out, and I had working with a naturopathic physician who's German technology who was measuring stuff, main system, and he said when he did my thyroid with Synthroid, I would have had to do 5 times the amount of Synthroid that I was on at that point in time, and by then be my kid. So he couldn't recommend that. They switched me to Armor Thyroid. I was still struggling, still couldn't get it under control. The endocrinologist couldn't figure it out, and he was getting really frustrated because it would have high swings between hypo and hyperthyroid with the autoimmune disease of Hashimoto's. I don't suffer with symptoms now. So how understanding this? Can we understand this, that and the person who's on who is vegan, sorry guys, I'm a little all over the place because I'm vegan, stuff is everywhere and it's driving me crazy. So I get distracted easily this morning. But when your body is not getting the pieces it needs, it's not going to function correctly. So if you get in your car to drive and there's gas in the car, are you going to get in the car? Maybe your gas tank is full, but you haven't changed your oil in a while and your engine is starting to clunk and you drive it anyway, and all of a sudden it starts to freeze up, smoking, and like, oh, and I had gas. We need the right components for things to work. Our bodies are not being given what they need to function properly because modern has been changed so drastically. So this is my favorite. You guys will hear me talk about it. Peach used to be about the size of this, and now this is a vitamin C egg. It's from the same company. Then a peach now is about the size of my fist, and the smaller peach was crunchy, a little bitter, a little bit sweet, but we loved it. But people were complaining about, sometimes it was more bitter, and they want something that's sweeter. And you know how we are. We want it bigger. We want it sweeter. We want it more delectable. So the food industry's like, okay, we can do that. You think of places like just tragically changed. Corn looks different than it used to. It used to look more like a grain. Now it's got this big plump thing. Or potatoes, I was shocked. I remember potatoes, again, when I was small, we had a farm and grew our own foods. Our potatoes, if we had the size of my fist, we were lucky. Now I see potatoes double the size of my fist. And those starches can glue quickly in the system. And there's not enough fiber in them. That's how they get. I'm not doing a good job of explaining, but what happened is removed fibers, the bitter, crunchy stuff out of our food, so that they can get it bigger and more delectable, and they pumped up the glucose, the fructose, in the way they modified the food. But now we don't have the fiber to create this blockage and allow the sugar to convert less quickly in our system, so that we're not having blood and creating a need for insulin. Yeah, everything is made in a lab. You guys, if you think that you're going to the grocery store and just because it says organic on it, you're getting an heirloom type thing, you're not. It doesn't even mean that it was grown completely pure. It just has to be 20% more organic than the other stuff, the way the other stuff's grown, or 20 or 25% more for them to be able to live organic. Does it mean they did use pesticides? Maybe not. Does it mean they used less? Probably. They have come up with ways to label everything to make it seem thing for you, even like high-fiber foods, right? So they've taken the fiber out of the food they're giving you, but because we're talking about fiber, they want to be able to market that higher in fiber. And it's percent more. It has to be higher than the food sitting next to it for them to be able to call it high fiber. But what they're putting back is forms of fiber that have been extremely broken and not doing the job that you need it to do in your system. So when you go like the fiber bars and whatnot, they're really high in glucose or sugars. They're high in proteins. And let's talk about protein. You're going out buying protein bars, good amounts of protein, but they're sugar still, right? They're still high in carbohydrates. Was it worth that? And then when we look at this, gets complicated. Then when we look at the fact that your body doesn't like to utilize protein for the building blocks until you hit ground in a sitting, otherwise it's fat or dumping it back out. So when you eat that little bar that has grams of protein and you're like, yay, your body's not using it in the way you think it is. You got to get above 20 grams of protein in a sitting, closer to 30, before your body starts to metabolize it into the building blocks that you're looking for it to be built out of, right? So be careful with those high proteins too. If it just, our food is just so jacked. So why not, eat a better diet, focus on some real protein. I'm a carnivore, so I eat a lot of chicken and steak and eggs. So there's that. I'm not a vegan. Your go-to source for vegan sources of protein. Not my wheelhouse. I don't have brain space. I don't care to look it up. So there's that. I'll just be really honest. I love good sources of protein. Now, back to what we're talking about with GLP-1s, though. Would you be interested to know that, okay, the tea works like a GLP-1, but there's something else that helps with GLP-1, keeping your levels down. I'm going to pause there. Remind me. I was talking about GLP because Jim, good morning, Jim. Jim is saying you guys go follow him. He's been on the system saying it helps reverse his type 2, and it's done it for his mother and his mother-in-law. So thank you, Jim. And Jim, an amazing man, you guys. This family that we have with Feel Great is so amazing. I love everybody. All right, I'll tell you. So proteins have a GLP-1 type action where they're cueing your body to produce this glucagon-like peptide. So why do I always say fiber and then protein and then fats? Because fiber is protecting you from the conversion of glucose going too quickly from any of the foods you're going to be eating, and protein to convert into glucose. Okay, you don't think that you're just eating in protein. Have carbohydrate value to them as well. But because of the GLP-1 like action in proteins, they help you stay feeling more satiated. So hear me all the time. Let's have our protein plate first. It's going to fill you up. It's going to help you feel full. It's going to help you stay and keep you satiated. Then you always want to pair proteins with fats. No, in eating meat like that, I also eat vegetables. So there are people who live on a carnivore diet, not my choice, and they're doing fine. Everybody has different. Some people will want to be vegan. Some people want to be carnivorous, and some people love the line like I like vegetables. I just prioritize that I get enough protein in my system, that I'm hitting that 30 grams per meal mark, or 30 to 40 grams per meal for me, and that it's helping me stay safe. I don't have the breakthrough hunger, but I'm still having vegetables. I'm still having fruits. I'm still having this form of fiber that I take to make sure that I'm getting the right kinds of fiber in without having to worry about a list of 50 foods and which ones are available to me and having to combine them to get the right portion. It gets too much. Like, we all have so much to think about. Internet's been great, but now it's like we have information overload, right? So back in the day, it was just pretty easy. We had that. I mean, we were talking about stuff, but we've come a long way. But that means there's way much more to think about and deal with. So I have been yep. And so Jim, the Healthy Pitmaster, says his family, remember, mother, him, all reverse, and they're all, the statin actually causing more cholesterol problems. It's sad what they're doing, and I show a video on that. So Um, does it help with carpal tunnel? Carpal tunnel is, I have not done any looking into it be linked to carpal tunnel. It wouldn't be intuitive. Carpal tunnel is a reproduction disorder, dietary disorder, everything I know. Is there a correlation between people having insulin resistant carpal tunnel? There may be, but I would think that it's very separate, because if you have carpal tunnel because you're doing a repetitive motion that has nothing to do with this repetitive motion. This repetitive motion over this, two different things. Okay, so I would have to say, from my knowledge, I would look at that channel. Okay, I look like Katy Perry, huh? That one, but thank you. Okay, so we were talking about protein. So we do 5 for me because I don't want to have to worry about it, and because it worked when I just do this. I put fiber in about this much water, and I shake it up and drink it 10 minutes before I eat. Now it makes this gel matrix. Video will be up about that. I'm going to have it edited today about fiber and the right kinds of fiber, and you need soluble and insoluble fiber to help get this blood glucose level down, to help with your lipid level, and natural products. They're just we can use them in our busy lives. We're no longer sitting at home having this abundance of home cooked foods. We're all running and we're all traveling and we're all, in and out of reality, really. I choose to use what works for me, and if you can do it now, great. Most of us are not there. Okay. Eating all the right kinds of whole foods every time that you go out, every time that you go to an event where other people are involved, every time that you're trying and searching for something in the grocery store or the airport or whatever. I mean, I don't even want to think about that. For me, I just put, where did I put packets? I just put 3 packets like this in my water a day, and that's it. I'm good. I actually threw a couple extra in, that way I have to stop, or, we have drinks, and I just have an extra one of the pre-meal drink. I'm covered. And it's reversed my diabetes, my sleep apnea, my hypertension, and need to lose 50 pounds. So Michelle says, I'm insulin resistant on thyroid meds, need to lose 50 pounds. So what I would invite you to understand is that I can't promise you anything. I can tell you that if we start to address the insulin resistance, and the protocol is directly, that's why I'm always talking about insulin resistance. It's affecting the insulin resistance. There's a money back on as well. If your A1C, glucose, your triglycerides don't come down in 90 days, you just send them your labs, and the company sends you your money back. But even better, they believe in the product so much, they've gotten to the point where they say, look, it's a 90-day guarantee. The system, do it, give it a real go, and if you're not happy with it in 90 days, you get your money back. So I was like that for a while. You get your back regardless if it doesn't work for you. So here's the thing: A1C, blood glucose, triglycerides, your numbers are all fine, but your insulin resistance. That was me, only nobody caught that it was insulin resistance until I caught it. And the only reason I caught it is because I started the system and started understanding what was going on in my body, because so many things got better that I was, what the heck is happening? How come I addressed my diabetes, sleep apnea got better? I addressed my diabetes, I lost 55 pounds. Okay, I addressed my diabetes, the cramp I was having in my legs, they're gone. I addressed my diabetes, migraines are gone. I addressed my diabetes, my eyesight came back. I addressed my diabetes, my hair started growing in. I addressed my diabetes, my liver panels got normal. Just my joints started healing naturally. All of that started happening because of the insulin resistance that comes before diabetes. So people ask all the time, what's the difference between insulin resistance and diabetes? Insulin resistance is the precursor to diabetes. You don't it's diabetes, so those numbers, A1C, blood glucose, and lipids are up high enough that you them. No, you had a problem the whole time. Nobody caught it. Okay. And that's a whole other topic. They're not testing insulin levels because the American Diabetes Association doesn't like that because it's not the most effective insulin, and so it can be awful. Then as we get with insulin, it's what they call a cheaper insulin, so it's not giving the most accurate, but it's giving you a good picture. So why shouldn't we be testing along with those other numbers? Why do those numbers show up later? The more insulin resistant you get, cell not taking up the energy, someplace the insulin, which is, I missed a whole lot this morning. Insulin is just an energy, not just insulin having more properties, but its primary is to carry energy. Energy in the food we eat. Food we eat should be energy for us, or it's nutrients that we need, and we stop. Many of us. So we eat food, converts into energy. Now insulin comes out. It's the hormone that gives the energy to the cells and gets the cells to take that energy in. It just doesn't magically go from gut cell. Something transports it, and that's insulin. Now, when there's insulin in high in the system all the time, cells start to say, I don't like this. You gave me too much energy yesterday. I can't take anymore today. I'm sick. And they start locking their door so the insulin can't come in. And now once they've gone about their day, they're doing other, they're listening to the door, it's locked, we don't care. Maybe they need energy, but that door is locked. That's insulin resistance. And now you're not getting the energy in your cells. But insulin is still there with a package that it's got to deliver. So, well, this doesn't want it, that doesn't want it, I can't drop this package anywhere. So we're going to put it in store, which is our cells. Some of our cells that don't replicate, so they fill up quicker, end up with a high A1C and blood glucose much quicker, that starts to skyrocket without putting on as much excess weight. Some fat cells replicate. So when the insulin is dropping that energy off, the fat cells are like, oh, I'm starting to get full. We better make more, to build more storage units. And then you start to have this excess fat, but that person's A1C and blood glucose is not high because they're having enough fat storage. Once the storage units start to get full and the fat cells are like, I can't take any of this either, now it ends up back in your bloodstream. Now your A1C and your blood glucose and your triglycerides to go off. So somebody's asking, let's stop a second and talk about how to find it. I did not set this up correctly, so let's get me fix this. So if you go to my profile link at the top here and click on that link, it's going to bring up a box down below. When that box comes up, you will click on that and you'll get to my profile page. When you get to my profile page, it's pretty simple. I've tried to make it simple. So there are two red lights right below my profile picture. So on my profile picture, you'll see two red lights, and that's the link where you want to click. When you click that link, this link right here, it's going to bring up my landing page. Linktree is a pretty safe place, so just click on past that. And the system is right here. So it's a tea in the morning, a drink that I can go over why those and the science of why they're working, if anybody cares. Some people do, some people don't. Some people are just like, I just want help and not destroy my body. I can explain it all to you, but you click on that there, and that's going to get you to the ordering page. Now, this is important, you guys. If you want to talk to me, if you want me to coach you, if you want to say, hey, Misha, I got my system and I want to talk to you, you got to use my link. You're going to get my discounts. You're going to get my pricing. You're going to get the 90-day money-back guarantee. You're going to get me for free, and you're going to get the quality guarantee. But you don't get that if you don't use that. You're going to click on Buy Now. When you click there, and I want you to know this is the company's website. So you're ordering directly from that. You know that you're getting all the keys is that were taken to a site that the company is behind, or is the company's website. You're going to get 30 of the tea, 60 of the balance. When you Amazon, eBay, Walmart, they're not authorized to sell coming from the company. The who knows? And so you're not getting coaching, you're not getting guarantees in your. All right. So you get these 3 different flavors. Which one you want for the tea? You can have the tea hot or cold. The premium drink comes in a light orange flavor. Tastes like an orange creamsicle. And then you get a choice between a one-time or a subscription. Guys, I want to talk about the monthly subscription really quick because I know it gets scary because everybody gets scammed, and I've had it happen to me too, right? But if you do, that's not what I want. If you do the subscription, what's going to happen is you're going to save $5 a month off of the product, and you're not going to have to pay for shipping. So to get my life in order over here. There we have. Yay! Misha made it through all the mess. So you're going to get free shipping. You're going to get $5 off. You get free hand mixer the first month, and then you're never going to run out of product. But they send you an email 5 days before your next one goes out. See that email that comes from Unicity that says, hey, good news, your order is being ready to be processed. That means you have 5 days. Do you want to change the flavor of it? Change the flavor. Do you want to add something to that subscriber? You can, and save shipping on that. You put it off a day or two, you can do that. You say, oh, wait 5 days to ship tomorrow. You can go in and do that, and guess what? You can call me and I do. So subscription is like you can cancel it at any time too, or like I have people are like, I have enough product to come consistent and I'm going to be traveling, I need to put it off for a month. I can tell you how to go in and set that subscription date up for a month later, and so you utilize the product. It's simple. We're easy to work. How long ago did I start on this, Michelle? I started 2.5 years ago. So my life 2.5 years ago was more very, very, very different from what it is now. Let's take a look at me 2.5 years ago. Okay. I was at almost 270 pounds. I had diabetes. My number was my AC was at 7.4. That was me 2.5 years ago. It was climbing. It was just like rapidly climbing. One month it was 6, and then the next month it was like 6.5, and all of a sudden it's all 7, and it's 7.4, and it's just continually going up. I had high blood pressure. I had sleep apnea. I had joints that were failing. I've had 3 joint replacements. My liver panels were going up. I had brain fog. I had fatigue. I had pain throughout my body. All this stuff that I talk about it because this was me. So that was me 2.5 years ago. About 2 months in the system, I woke up one day and I was like, I don't think it was like, what am I doing? Whole counter full of medications, and I don't like medications, so I just I literally, this is my choice, please. This is what I'm telling you to do. This was my choice. I pulled my garbage can to the counter, and this is my personality too. It was done. I'm like, I'm over it, and so I just literally took all those medications and threw them in the garbage, and I've not filled one of those prescriptions out. Again, I'm not advocating that anyone else. Please work with your physician. I worked with physicians long and with stuff to know that I could do that with them not. I mean, but there was like 10 different medications in there. I never threw away the pain medications because I was afraid. But I was on Norco, Hydro, and gabapentin, as well as cycling through high doses of Tylenol for my pain levels, and I don't take those anymore. Yeah, I have a headache once in a while, like everybody else, sitting in front of these lights all day. And so maybe I'll have Tylenol then, or maybe I'm out doing work and I have some pain, or maybe I'll do it then. But prescriptions, I haven't been on prescriptions in over 2 years. Okay, so 2.5 years ago I started. I lost 55 pounds. I've reversed all of those things. Let's take a look at that. I'm gonna also, you guys. I want something. This was me after I started this. I'm heavier now than I was then. Because I had my gallbladder taken out in an emergency surgery. Now, I had a ton of nerve pain. Shar asked if I had nerve pain. Yes. I had neuropathy. I had edema. There are some other things, but I want to show you the weirdest thing is you're going to look at a picture of my feet right now. because I want you to see this, and then we can come back to some amazing people. This was my feet when I started the system. The top picture, they're swollen. You can start to see bruising and discoloration. I knew that if I didn't change something, I was going to get like diabetic foot sores. I was going to see, if I'd worked in enough clinics, people start to lose their one. I'll tell you the story in a second, but it was terrifying. My feet, like this was within an hour of me getting every day, and they were painful to walk. The down here is after being on it. You can see the bruising from my sandals, but my feet after being on an airplane all day, in and out of airports, walking, elevation changes, all of that. I come home, I pull off, and there's no swelling. You can tell by the vascularity. You can tell it's the same feet because of my monkey toes, but that changed for me, and that was within 6 months, 8 months of me starting the system. The nerve pain was gone. They weren't painful to walk on. The swelling was gone. I could wear regular shoes. I didn't have to worry about compression socks on the airplane or leg cramps after I got off the plane. So yeah, nerve pain was a real thing, and took that. And so yeah, 2.5 years, and that's what changed for me. Now, the gallbladder, you guys, I do like to talk about this, and I'm starting to work with a doctor. We're going to work on some ways for people like me who are doing great with the Feel Great system, but maybe they have this extra issue. Like gallbladder, by the way, messes with your thyroid, your hunger, and your satiety hormones. It messes with how your body can utilize insulin. So I'm more likely to be insulin resistant by not having a gallbladder. So ladies, they want to take your gallbladder out when you're pregnant, unless there's a real valid, like mine was full of stones, there was no way we were going to reverse them. Don't do it. It's harder to lose weight for men, especially women, when your gallbladder removed. So a couple of things I do besides the system, and I've not been as consistent with it. The doctor and I were talking about it. I've got to get on board with taking bile salts, digestive enzyme every time I eat, because I have no gallbladder. And there's a whole that's a whole other talk. But yeah, it's very difficult to lose weight when your gallbladder is removed for many, for a number of reasons that I'm not versed on yet. That I'm talking to figure out what this is, because I know so many women have had their gallbladder. I call it yes because that's what I feel. They say, "Oh, you're having pain. Your liver is at risk. Let's just take that gallbladder. You don't need it." They don't tell you about the gastritis you're going to have. They don't tell you about the problems you're going to have digesting food. They don't tell you about the weight your problem have, or the thyroid or anything else that you're going to have. Just take the gallbladder. Oh, let's not do any more of that. How about we start healing up what caused that in the first place? And for many of us, that is the insulin resistance. It's putting your liver at risk. If you've had bladder removed, your liver is at risk, and that's a real issue. So back to reality. There we are. So I talked about the tea this morning a little bit, and GLP-1 actions at keeping you satiated, helping you with some fat burning, helping with mental clarity. You guys, the tea does so many amazing things, but this is a two-step system, right? The tea in the morning and the pre-meal drink before you eat anything, and that has to do with the fiber. So when we are not getting the right kinds of fiber in our system in the right amounts, we're unable to protect ourselves from the break sugars. So this is another complicated thing. The pieces that I do know, pieces that I've learned, when we are not getting enough fiber in, our sugar converting too quickly, delivering through the intestinal tract too quickly, they get absorbed and sent up to the stream, and the insulin levels go up because it's just hitting too quickly. And then we lose that satiating more quickly. Brilliant marketing ploy, right? They took fat out of our foods, which keeps us full. They took fiber out of our food, which keeps us full. And they pumped up the glucose or the fructose. And now we're having food. There's this immediate energy, but it goes away really quickly. So we want to eat more. So we're continually going back to eat And then they came up with this thing that eat every 2 hours to keep your metabolism burning. Well, what you do when you eat 2 hours is you keep insulin, and that's anything but keeping your metabolism healthy. Everything in your body has a check and balance. Okay, so it's not just one way pedal. There's always a secondary thing in your body. So with metabolism, the primary players are going to be insulin, which is and glucagon, which is a spender. We don't talk about glucagon a lot, right? Because most of us are not utilizing glucagon. It's not really ever the insulin is, because we're cueing insulin every time we eat. Insulin is a sugar burner, an energy burner, or an energy storage. Energy storage. Glucagon is fat. It wants to rise up all this stuff that we've stored, but glucagon is saying, I worked really hard to store all this energy in the body, and glucagon, you can't come spend my money. So think about a dysfunctional marriage where the man says, I made all this money and I'm not giving you the check. That's what it's like between insulin and glucagon. So glucagon's over here like, but there's all of this in savings. There's all of this in the storage, and we need to utilize that. But insulin is like, nope, I worked so hard, you have it. So until insulin goes to bed or goes away, glucagon can't come out to play. Now, we have to get insulin down for glucagon to come out and start utilizing the fat and helping us clean up the body from all of this tissue that needs to go away that insulin was holding on to at all costs, because not everything that we're storing is good for us, right? So if we're eating every 2 hours and we're eating food that's converted too quickly, which tells insulin, I have to do. If they're eating all the time and this food is creating sugar, insulin needs to be here to do my job. I'm going to deliver that energy, and I'm going to save, and I'm going to do whatever I can. And this person is just going to eat again in 2 hours, so I got to stay high. Because you train your body to do that. When you stop eating every 2 hours, when you stop eating all the things that convert into glucose, and it's not just table sugar, you guys, stop that. It's not just table sugar that's converting into glucose. When we stop all of that process, now insulin says, oh, hey, I don't have to be out here. I don't have to be running rampant and being a bully and like chasing everybody off. And the body can start to heal and fat. Glucagon has to come. Fiber comes into play because fiber is allowing sugars to build up too quickly in the system. I just realized I'm off some tangent in my own head. But there's so many actions that are happening for us, and that high sugar constantly is causing this insulin resistance. It's partly because we have a lack of fiber. But the other piece of this is this enzyme called amylase. And I was just talking to a client yesterday. For women especially, I say this because the science is showing this. A person we have digestive enzyme that helps break things down into sugar so that our bodies can utilize it. It makes sense. When we're younger, we want a lot of that because we're eating, we have high energy, we need that energy delivered, so we're breaking that down as quickly as we can. What science is showing is in old women that amylase has started to build up. That enzyme is not always, is just, there's a build of it, and it's amylase. And now we have this where our body is converting sugars really quickly, and then we're missing fiber to slow it down, and now we're having problems. So fiber is the step that I take to put that back to slow all that action down, from whether it's table sugar, or whether it's the bell peppers I like to eat, or the green beans, or the pears, or the berries. I use fiber. Do not like Wegovy and Ozempic. You missed the first part of the chat about it again real quick. Reasons I like Wegovy and Ozempic are they're not helping your body do stuff naturally. They're forcing your body. So I want you to think about a child. Are you a parent, Michelle? Just yes or a one if you're a parent. Okay. So if you think about your kids, when you've told them you have to go do something and you have to learn how, You haven't told them why. You've given them no support as to why they need to keep doing this, but you're just like, you're going to do this because I said. How well does that go? Really well, right? A grandparent, I see my mistakes as a parent, and I understand when my grandkids are struggling, I stop and ask them, did you understand why you need to do this? Has anybody ever shown you how to do this properly? And they'll be like, no. So I take time to show them, explain to them, and then when I ask them, they're like, okay, I get it now. Well, your body's kind of the same way. Wegovy and Ozempic are like telling you, you must do this, and I care if you understand you're going to do this. But the body starts to be like, I don't want to. Whereas things like the tea are supporting your body, and you're like, hey, there's something I could do, and now I have the right components to do it. So I'm going to go do that thing, and it's going to go well for me. So Wegovy and Ozempic are forcing your body to do this LP glucagon-like peptide action in your body, which is helping satiety through the gut and the brain. That starts to shut down after about 2 years. Now also, when you've artificially, any science that I've seen when I worked in the doctor's offices and whatnot, one of the issues with like exogenous hormones, when people are taking them when they don't need them, what they're doing is getting their that they don't need them. So when you're putting something in that's forcing your body or telling your body what to do without just like giving it the components, it's going to stop doing it at some point. With Wegovy, semaglutide, those things, about 2 years, that action of satiety to go away. But now your body's not used to how it's supposed to produce glucagon-like peptide, and so it's kind of out of whack. I know they've had problems with they've had problems with their thyroid, they've had problems with their liver, or maybe their kidneys, or they have this thing called gastroparesis where their stomach starts to freeze up. Does it happen for everyone? No. Does it happen for enough people that I would never want to do that? Yes. Okay, so the tea is your body that it needs. So they can say, oh, I want glucagon like to come out. Proteins also do that. So we're encouraging the body to do its by giving it the proper nutrients that that it needs so that it can do what it needs to do. Now, is this going to work as quickly as Wegovy? No, because we're not having that high production of something that's foreign to the body. We're encouraging the body. This is 365 times more many components than than a normal bagged herbal tea, but it's also had pesticides and toxins removed. Somebody asked the other day, somebody's doing herbal tea, start to get IBS symptoms and diarrhea and whatnot. And what is that? The only thing that I hear, because I'm a specialist on that, is that there is a lot of pesticides and toxins in bagged, whether it's herbal mate or celestial seasonings or whatever. That's the one that comes to my mind. But they don't purify those. You could be getting a low dose and your body is sensitive to it. We've removed all of that from it. So it's extremely pure. It's highly concentrated. So yeah, tried it one time and got deathly ill, and many people feel that way. Some people are just so that is the way to lose weight. They deal with it. It can really shut down your hunger, make you feel nauseous. It's like so strong that your body's just kind of like, what is this? It's working for people, and for people who like death, nothing else is working, and they that boost over the edge. Maybe I get with that, but for the majority of us, is that do I want to destroy my pancreas, destroy my kidneys, have the chance that my guts are going to get frozen and not be able to pass food through to have quick weight loss? No. Do I want to take care of it and understand that the weight is an indicator of other things in my system? And by the way, some people, the more doctors I'm listening to, I was really not. I'm learning more, but fat is not always an indication of disease. I've known that for a while, but it's also just because the person has this fat doesn't mean they're going to have high levels of insulin. The body's just really efficient at storing. Yeah, and that's one of the concerns that like Dr. Hickman has and a few other doctors, that they are so new. There are no long-term studies on it, especially for weight loss. like when they were doing it for diabetes, because people had crazy high level A1C and whatnot, and they were really trying to save people's lives. I get with that, maybe, but again, why not start addressing what really caused it to be high, which is our food, lack of fiber and lack of nutrients. How much junk putting in our face? Why not address that? But now they started saying, oh, well, it works really well for weight loss, and so now they've actually off-branded some of those drugs and they're marketing them as weight loss drugs now at $300 to $1,500 a month. $300 to $1,500 a month. $5 a year, about $150 a month. Complain that it's expensive, yet they'll run out and spend $300 to $1,500 on drugs that are potentially going to freeze up their gut, do all of those things, cause thyroid, cause liver issues, cause kidney issues, cause whatever, and they're okay with that. What is wrong with our world? Yeah. So if you're looking for a more natural solution to that, Alicia, that's what the system does. I haven't talked about this for a while. I was struggling to an ago. I had tried all the stuff. My doctor actually put me on metformin, and I was so desperate because my blood pressure was out of control. For me, it wasn't the weight loss. I was trying to get my health under control. I did it, but it made, even the metformin made me so sick. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you putting junk in your body like that? And I stopped. And I found this, but I had done the medical medium, I had done keto, I had done veganism, I had done calorie counting, I had done all the stuff, and nothing was working. Numbers down, all the other things go away. Yes, I need to lose weight, but that wasn't the main priority. Yeah, and Alicia, the crazy thing is, you start doing it, it is different for everybody, right? My family, it took them a while. But my daughter now utilizes it. My daughter-in-law now utilizes it. My 13-year-old and 12-year-old grandchildren utilize it. And my 5-year-old granddaughter drinks the tea every time there and have it out. So I'd rather have this soda pop any day, fruit juice any day. And she's actually, I mix it up in a mug, taking them to the park, and all of a sudden I reach down, my tea is gone. A little girl snuck up, but she look up at me with a sweet face and be like, but you don't care, do you? Because it's for me. And I'm like, how can I argue with that? How can I argue with that? So yeah, I just have extra tea on hand all the time. Yeah. So an Epstein Barr, I started looking at when I was doing the medical medium stuff, and I know a lot of what he says. I'm not the expert on Epstein Barr, right? What I do know is that when I just started doing the system and trying to address those other numbers, all the stuff got better. So I actually, it's packed now because I'm moving, but I have his book. Is it Cleanse to Heal, the one with the red banner? And I actually had spreadsheets. I sat down and all the symptoms, the ones that were bothering me the most, and I went through the book and I read everything about each one, and I created a list of all the stuff that I needed to do for each one, and then I merged those lists to say, okay, if I can try and address as much as I can, and then I condensed it into one major list, and then I had that list posted on my fridge, and I would go every 3 days to the grocery store to buy all the supplies, and I would make these crazy green nasty shakes every morning down to try and affect all of those, and it wasn't getting better. I mean, maybe marginally, and then I was frustrated. I mean, my fridge and my counter was full of stuff, and trips, my pain levels and stuff aren't getting better, and then I saw this on TikTok, and I reached out to the guy, I don't know, probably for 10 days before he got back to me. I reached out to him here, I reached out to him on Instagram, I can't remember where else I saw him, but I was like everywhere before he finally got back to me and I got started. And within a week, for me on the system, in the first week, my energy was back. I had such bad adrenal fatigue that doctors would say, I don't know how you're upright right now. It was bad. And I was in pain. And that started to go away. The extreme brain fog I had, that would make me want to cry. I couldn't remember names. I couldn't remember facts. I couldn't put things together. And I'm a very I have a broad knowledge of stuff, and I just, it was horrible for me to have this mental acuity that was just drained. And so I would literally be in tears for it. The first day that started to come back. By day 3, I was on a business call, on a Zoom call, with my partner and now partner in business. I'm now partners in this damn business. Stuff. You've seen her on here too. And she stopped our meeting and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, she said, "I've never seen you with so much clarity. You're going, you just have so much energy. We'd known each other for years, that I've never seen you like this. You've done something different." And so I told her about the system, and she ordered, and she never stopped either. But then by day 6, that pressure that was never charted in the chart, it was like 150 over 110 was the lowest we had it. It was 126 over 84. My physician I used to work for and have known for years called the MA in and said, "Do her blood pressure again," because she couldn't believe all those years that without medications my blood pressure was down. She had been working on it for years, cycling through medications to try and get it down. And he took it again, and yep, it was still 126 over 84. Now it's like 112 over 74 every day, no blood pressure medications. Okay, so you feel like that all helps short-term, body gets used to it and pivots to fight good. Yeah, any of those drugs, I think at some point, that's why you have to take higher and higher doses, because the body's getting used to it, and the body's just starting to, it creates a new level of normal. Talking about heat, we're talking about drugs, whether you guys understand that your body creates the level of health based on what training. So for me, I would like to have natural, normal things in my body that's telling my body, okay, we're safe to do the things we need to do, and have my body do what it wants to do naturally, and be forcing it to do something and then having those other side effects later on. That's my choice. And so that's what I'm here to speak about. The people who choose to do Wegovy, Mounjaro, Ozempic, look, I understand the frustration. So I had a number of them come back and say, "Hey, I need to do the system." And it's okay, you guys, it's okay. I'm not gonna laugh at you or poke fun at you or do any of that. We all make choices where we're at. But I hope make the health. Okay, I have some calls to make in a very short day. I get grandson today, so I got to run up this afternoon, and then he and I just hang out, playing together. I unplug, and it is Friday. It's every Friday, but please put the electronics down for a minute. Spend some time with the people you love. Really spend some time with them. They're going to be back for that, and get to know the ones you love again, instead of just all the people on TikTok or Facebook or whatever. Have an amazing weekend. When you do decide to order, just go to my on that there. I want to say this before I go, though. If you want me to coach you, if you want to connect with me, if you want the help and all of that, I mean, you got to use that way that I know you've ordered, and you're going to get my discount 90-day money back guarantee. Amazon, none of that happens. It's a mess over there. Okay, and I do text you, I do write you. I am on the phone with people every day, as much or as little help as you need. So take care of yourself, and thank you for all your interaction this morning, Alicia, and everyone else. And I'm going to go get sort done. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys Monday at around 8 o'clock. Have a good week, everybody.